The next one is my favorite, the Rainmakers, right? The Rainmakers got it figured out. They are successful. As a matter of fact, a Rainmaker, if you really look at it, a Rainmaker's figured out time profitability. A Rainmaker says, okay, if I'm doing this, and I have 7 hours of doing paperwork, if I get rid of that 7 hours, I can take 7 hours and put it towards this and make more money. Problem with the Rainmaker in the beginning is, yes, they understand time profitability, but that bus is moving 100 miles an hour, which is their business. They're just hauling. So they hire people out of necessity in the beginning. It's literally taking them and throwing them over their shoulders. Now, they're not slowing down the bus saying, okay, let's talk about this, let's develop your role, let's have, weekly meetings. No, they're still doing what they're doing, throwing people over their shoulders. I want to talk about staff in a second, but they're moving and shaking. So when you look at a Rainmaker, you got to remember there's a couple of things on your notes you may want to write down that's I find very, very characteristic of a Rainmaker. The first is they got vision. And this is important for the next two stages too. They have vision. They understand where they want to go. They're not exactly clear on how to get there, but they know I'm going over there. And they have an idea and a vision of what that looks like. And it's very clear in their head. They also have the ability to put in effort. So not only do they have vision, but they're willing to put the time and energy and effort into it to get that vision. They know it's an uphill battle. Hell, if it wasn't an uphill battle, everyone would do it. So their effort is high. Right behind effort, I need you on your notes, is risk. There are patterns of mindset. We're talking about mindset, right? So your Rainmakers have a mindset of, I need to understand why I'm doing this. That's my vision. That's where I'm going. That's what I want to build. They also understand that to put in effort. You got to put a lot of time and energy into this. It ain't going to come easy. They also know this one, which is a big one, risk-taking. They understand risk-taking is absolutely critical to my success. When they look at risk-taking, they don't look at it as a fail or a pass, right? Are you going to do a good job or a bad job? They look at it as, do you have the information that you need? Yes. Make a decision. But it may be the wrong one. Make a decision. But it may not be. Make a decision. So one of the really important things about being a great entrepreneurial is having the capacity to take risks, which is making decisions, stop being immobilized. Now, within risk-taking, there's success, and what's the other option? If you try something, you give it a shot, you're going to do it or fail. So, on your notes, as an entrepreneurial, how do you handle failure? Your most successful Rainmakers don't look at it as pass and fail. They look at it as, do you have the right information? Yes, make the decision. But we may be wrong, but then we'll make a better decision next time. So they move through decision making. It's really important. Next piece with this is this, on your notes, is about obstacles and roadblocks. So one of the things that makes a Rainmaker so successful is they don't see obstacles and roadblocks. They expect them. Now, they're not saying, ooh, I got one. But when it happens, they're not sitting on the curb saying, God, this sucks. Why is this happening to me? I was so close. They go, okay, let's keep moving. So a Rainmaker, when we look at obstacles, they don't like them. They just understand that no action is the worst action. They understand that action breaks paralysis, if you want to write that in your notes. Action breaks paralysis. So they have these mindsets. The other one I personally love is mediocrity. They don't accept mediocrity from themselves, which is part of the reason that they are sometimes hard to work for, is because they understand that any given moment could be a life and death. Every decision in the emerging and the developing could have been, hey, could have got the client, could not got the client. So they've pushed themselves to be better than they are right now. And they kind of expect everyone else to be the same way. But then we also have the one I love the most, which is a pattern, which is what must be transferred. All the things I just gave you to get to the CEO level, your managers, your leaders, and your people must have the same mindset. So those 5 or 6 items I gave you are important. The other one is, the last one I think makes a huge difference in a Rainmaker, is the mentality of why not. They believe in the world of why not. Why can't I do that? Why can't we grow that way? Why can't this occur? Why can't we have 15 more? Why not? They even live it on a most simplistic level. If I'm driving in a car and at a gas station or I'm at a stoplight and you pull up and you got a really nice car, and I look at it and I go, why not me? Maybe it's the house where you want to live in the town. Why not me? Really important for your notes about rainmakers. They do not have boundaries. They don't look at things and say, I can't do it. You can't do that. Okay, I understand you can't do it that way, but how do we get it done? They live in the world of why not. They don't let limitations. Oh, I don't have a good education. I don't have a good dialect. I don't know anybody. What? Who cares? Why not? Go! Massive difference. So with this, Rainmakers, successful. Swagger, they deserved it, but remember, 2 million to 30 million inside the Rainmaker. So there's a lot of growth in there. Now within that, let's talk real quick about a couple of things that happens, right? So the first is decision making. When you're brand new as a Rainmaker, one of the things I want you to look at is the very last bullet. All roads come to you. This is really important for the Rainmaker. The Rainmakers built, when they start to have people add on to their team and the complexity and the people start to move out, the complexity comes out, right? So the first people they typically bring on are paperwork and processing, et cetera. Some of the last people they may bring on are larger complexity, CFOs, CEOs, right, in that areas. So now the complexity comes out. But part of the issue about all roads lead to them is they're the ones looking at emails going out, what's in the marketing pieces. All decisions come to them. So in the beginning, the Rainmaker builds the business because they're the epicenter. But one of the biggest problems that you're going to have is that's the problem, that you are the center of the world. So one of the major things that occurs that we need to take a look at how to change is a Rainmaker, in the beginning, everything comes from them out. And that's a problem, but it's a strength in the beginning. So one of the areas for decision making is it all comes back to them. Another area we want to take a look at is staff. Remember, I was telling you about they're just taking people, throwing them over their shoulders, but they learn that's not a good idea. Most of them, for the goodness sakes, just learn how to manage themselves. They learn how to make sure they get commitments to themselves. And now they're managing other people, and I got to develop other people. On top of that, the next level is now I manage and develop managers who can now manage and develop my people. And ultimately, if you want to get out of the Rainmaker phase, you have to learn how to manage and develop leaders who then develop and manage their managers, and then others. There's hierarchy to this. And the other thing I've noticed about Rainmakers, you may want it down your notes, I call it energy. You look inside any organization, there's always energy. There's people that create energy, and there's people that suck energy. And a lot of times, the suckers of energy, although they may be competent, they may be loyal, they may be around for a while, but all the problems that happen or all the problems that stem seem to come from the same people. And I would like you to write this down in your notes just in case, again, values and beliefs, not competencies. More times than not, the majority of the problems you have as a Rainmaker and as an entrepreneurial, the problems you have with people, are more times than not because of values are different, okay? If my value is follow through, if my value is hierarchy, if my value is accuracy, if my value is do more than, and all of a sudden, you and I are working together and say, hey, how'd it go? I sent them out an email. Okay, great, so you sent out an email. What else happened? No, I'm waiting for them to reply back. Really? That's not follow through for me. Follow through for you, we have an issue. So you have to take a look at Rainmakers that go into the CEO level. They have learned. You better start looking at, evaluating, and hiring values, not just competencies. The majority of the problems we have are individuals who have a different value system than us. Not what's right and wrong, but simple things. What's hard, right? Preparation, follow through. Those are all values. It's in the teaming program, right? So all of a sudden, big time. The other one, that's a really big issue with your Rainmakers on holding them back from the next level is actually replacing themselves. They don't have a tendency to hire and replace the people, or excuse me, replace the things that they do. So all of a sudden, some entrepreneurs have a massive, what we call Superman complex. Superman complex is, I'm the center of the universe and I can handle everything and everyone comes to me and I can save the world. But that mentality is what keeps almost all entrepreneurs in the Rainmaker phase. So as a staff, they have to understand how to replace myself so I can get to the next level, which is the CEO. The other thing about Rainmakers is the fact that they look at budget as spending, not investing, which is a huge issue. Huge issue, all right? We're getting there, the wrong buttons. So spend versus invest is massive. The one I really want to share with you that's most important is I-centeredness. If any of you are entrepreneurs, you work with entrepreneurs, you sell to entrepreneurs, I-centeredness is the #1 reason that they build the business the way they did. It's also the #1 reason they don't go past Rainmaker. I-centeredness means the entire business is built around me. So the rainmaker lives in what's called an 80-20 rule. 80% of the revenue comes from the rainmaker, 80% of the decisions come from the rainmaker, 80% of the tactics come from the rainmaker, 80% of the rescuing comes from the rainmaker. So the rainmaker may not be the one that actually has that phone call, but what happens when that client's not happy? They go right to the rainmaker. Or someone says, hey, we have an issue with so-and-so at work, we need to have a conversation, need to chat with you about it. So they're coming for confirmation and for rescuing. So the rainmaker, being a superman, or a super person, superwoman, doesn't make a difference. The mentality is built around me. And again, it's the strength that got him there, but it's also the weakness. So when we look at how to address rainmakers, super quick, nice and easy. Make sure that you get all roads to go away from you. And this is not an easy task because the business is built that way. The second thing is, for your notes, is decision filters. Teach your people how you make decisions. Everyone has filters on how you make a decision. So what's more important? Service? Is it sales? Okay, what level sales? What level service? So you have to understand how to give filters. So teach your people filters. It's the best way to make sure that we're all in alignment. It's the best way to change culture, is teach filters of how you make decisions. Last one I want to share with you, and this one is the far right last one. It's called tenured versus ideal. And if you're in the situation, you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about, is you have someone who's been with you for a long time, great people, they got you where you are right now, but where the business is going is not the person that you have. And unfortunately, their tenure will give them a lot of free passes, but the problem is where we're going in the business, I don't need someone learning it as we're going, I need someone who knows where we're going and can get me there. So I have found most rainmakers 3 times in their professional career have to make tough decisions around personnel. And that's usually around tenured versus ideal. The person we have has been great, they've been with us for a long time, but we are past that level. We are past it.
Thank you for watching this highlight video from the Sandler Summit. You can join us for the next Sandler Summit in 2024, March 19th and 20th at the Orlando World Center Marriott. Register now at sandler.com/summit.